If this question resonates with you, or you have your own question you want to ask an expert, let us know in the comments and make sure to follow so you can get more insights on trauma healing. Okay, Dr. Jessica, why does food make me feel safe?
Great question. And I think that we talked about this a little bit as far as like food is the first thing that we're comforted with when we're born, right? So it's already embedded into our nervous system as being safety, right? So food and touch, and they go hand in hand. There are a couple other pieces though. Well, one, food literally physically gives you safety in the form of neurotransmitters. So certain types of food especially gives you, like especially carbs and sugar, FYI, release more serotonin and dopamine.
Oh, that's true. We don't even think about what the food does for us.
The science, right? Like so
Yeah.
scientifically, like not only are we wired to reach for food as humans from early on, but scientifically, like food does help. It legitimately does. And one example I give of this, especially for my female clients, when they talk about like premenstrual symptoms, right? Right. And women always say, like, I reach for chocolate or chips, right? And yes, because what's happening is when we go through PMS, your serotonin levels naturally go down. Serotonin is the neurotransmitter that's responsible for stable mood. Okay, so that's why you're also cranky when you're PMSing. Right? Dips, we get cranky, and your body knows this. Your body is so smart. It knows that that's what's happening. So your body says, oh, you know what actually helps produce more serotonin? Carbs, because it does. A lot of our serotonin comes from carbs. So it says, let's eat some carbs. Let's eat some chocolate or pasta or something like that. Right? Right, exactly. Because it's trying to help you. It's literally trying to, I always tell my clients, I joke a lot with them, it's like, it's literally trying to help you not kill anybody.
That's so true. That's funny.
Like, we don't demonize food, right? Because it's literally your body knows that you're going through a dip right now. And so it's trying to get you to put some food into it to help your serotonin go up a bit, right? So scientifically, it helps. That's another part of
Yes.
it.
Yes. And food can also make you feel bad. I mean, there's food that I've eaten that makes me feel bad. Now that
Yes.
I'm paying attention. Now that I'm paying attention.
Yes, right? And so it may help your serotonin go up. Like, and there's a difference between like eating like, I don't know, half a chocolate bar, right? Versus like five chocolate bars,
Oh yeah. Oof.
right? Like your body is going to be like, oh, that's not what we needed. Right.
No, we didn't need that much.
We didn't need that much. Exactly. Right. And then that's going to go back to some of like the restriction, the mindset of like, well, why did we eat five chocolate bars?
Yeah, exactly. Let's
It
dive
kind of
into that. Yeah.
into that. Yeah. And so, and you're right that like there are certain foods that do not sit well with certain people. And you have to be able to go inside of your body and understand what foods sit well with you versus foods that don't sit as well. And and that can be a lot of work.
Yeah. 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 You
And if
really
you,
have to have a lot of awareness and pay attention to your body and how it's reacting.
yes, yes. And there's this fancy word called interoceptive awareness, two words.
Mm.
So I don't know if we've talked about that concept.
Mm-mm. No.
Well, IA or interoceptive awareness is being able to turn into your body and know what it's telling you. So these are your hunger signals, your fullness signals. It's your body telling you what it needs from you, essentially. And when you go through trauma, a lot of times you're cut off from your interoceptive awareness.
Yes.
Your body no
Yes.
longer feels safe. So we don't want to go into your body, right? Like it's scary in there. Your body is no longer safe, especially if you've been through physical or sexual abuse, right? We do everything we can to not be in our body. So now we're cut off from interoceptive awareness cues. So trauma can do that. Dieting does that as well.
So then you don't feel the hunger. You don't feel when you're full. And that is so true. Because
Yep.
how could I eat a full dinner and then keep on eating throughout the evening until I went to bed?
Yeah, precisely.
I was not hungry at all. I was full.
Yep. but your IA was not available in that moment, right? So
Nope.
those cues were not your body shut down. It was not talking to you. You were not listening to it. Like so everything like so there's a lot of block there. And so that's we talk have you if you've heard of intuitive eating, right? Like I support intuitive eating. I think it's great. What a lot of people don't understand is like you cannot eat intuitively if you don't have interoceptive awareness.
What is eating intuitively?
Eating intuitively is eating in the way that respects your body. And there's 10 different parts of it. And maybe we can go into that in a different episode if you do that, kind of explore that. But it's eating in a way that respects your body and you're working with your body, right? And so it's eating consistently, it's eating in a way that nourishes you, it's respecting your hunger signals and your fullness signals, and so forth. Contrary to popular belief, it's not eat when you're hungry, stop when you're full.
Yeah, because that one always got me because I'm like, I could always be hungry and I'm never full.
Right. And then I would say to you, like, that's not true
Right.
because we have to work on your interoceptive awareness, right?
Right.
Right now, we just don't know our body, right? And so
Right.
we have to restore body trust before
What
you
would
can eat intuitively. Yeah.
what would be one tip that you could give us to help us at least start on that? Start paying attention and because honestly, it took me a long time to kind of figure out my hunger pain and my full
Mhm.
feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say like one tip, one tip that's not complicated.
Yeah, I know because I know this does get complicated.
Well, I mean, one of the ways to kind of just break it down, I think, is like making like a conscious effort to just check in with your body, maybe just like 3 times a day, right? Making it kind of a habit to be like, to just, when I check in with my body, I always like look down at it. Right? I always like look down. I'm like, how we doing? Right. So just maybe it's when you wake up in the morning, you check in with your body,
I
right?
do.
Maybe at lunch, you check in with your body. Maybe at night before you go to bed, right? If you wanted to work on it a bit more, maybe it's pulling up a body scan, right? And a body scan is something where you can listen to it and the person will guide you through just checking in with each part of your body.
Ooh.
And that can increase awareness. Now, if you have a trauma history or a significant trauma history, like disclaimer, like that can be triggering.
Yes,
And
yes.
so I always say, like, that is something that I always say, like, let's use with a licensed professional
Correct.
and so forth. And so, but, there are ways of doing it that are very healing for trauma survivors.
Yeah, I would say that we definitely need to have trauma therapists for sure,
Absolutely.
guiding you through all of this. I mean, as you get on, I know for me, as I've gotten on my healing journey, I don't need it as much, obviously, because I've done some healing and I've learned how to, I'm still learning, of course, but I've learned how to kind of regulate myself and pay attention. But in the beginning, you definitely need somebody walking you through this because we're actually unlearning the way we used to live and relearning a new way. And
Absolutely.
so we need someone professional helping us with that.
Yeah. If you're at the beginning of your trauma recovery journey or binge eating recovery journey, get a seasoned professional. Get someone who's licensed and know what they're doing, vet them, ask questions. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes sense why food makes us feel safe, though. That's the story of when we're babies. That's one of the ways that we were comforted.
Yeah. And then in foods neuroscience, I think there's also, I want to kind of bring up the point of like, oftentimes, like, food is always there for you.
Yeah, it is.
Like that trauma feels like it's consistent, reliable, and predictable. And it doesn't
Yes,
shame you, it doesn't yell at you, it doesn't criticize you, right?
so true.
If mom's screaming at you when you're 10 years old, or dad comes home, drunk from the bar every night, you know who's always there? M&Ms,
Yep.
right?
And they're not drunk and
And
they're
they're
not
not
yelling
drunk,
at you.
they're not criticizing you, they're safe, right? You add on top the other factors that we already talked about, that why wouldn't food feel like safe?
Right, right. Yeah, because like I said, celebrations and all of that go along with food. We're making food fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and so forth. And so I think, you know, when you think about has food been comforting? Like, why is food so comforting and safe for me? Like, you think about then, well, what has it done for you? When do you turn to food? Right? Is it comforting? Is it grounding you when you're anxious, maybe? Is it soothing you? Is it
Mm,
calming you out? Like, there are questions that you can kind of certainly journal about or ask yourself or talk about with your therapist, right? To really get to like, what has food personally done for you?
right, right. Great answers. Great answer. Uh, that's great. If this question resonates with you, or you have your own question you want to ask an expert, let us know in the comments and make sure to follow so you can get more insights on trauma healing.